Hi, I'm Daniel from LIGO.co.uk, and these are the Viking Badger 8x42 binoculars. The Viking Badgers are a budget to mid-level series of binoculars that come in a variety of different magnifications, but today I'm going to be talking about the 8x42s. These retail between about £100 and £120. But are they any good, and how do they stack up to other binoculars around this price point? Let's take a closer look. Okay, let's start out with a little unboxing to show you what you get with the Badgers. As you can see, they come in this nice branded box, card box, so eco-friendly as well, always good to see. Open that up. Binoculars themselves are inside this soft carry case. Bit of a snug fit once the neck strap is put on there, but it does give you a bit of protection while you're out and about. And it comes with a neck strap attached to the case as well, which not all of them do for some reason. You get the binoculars themselves, which I'm going to tell you all about in a minute. Neck strap might be a bit fiddly to attach for some people, but once it's on, it's nice and comfortable to use as it's padded as well. A little lens cleaning cloth, which actually has a badger on it as well to fit the name of the binoculars. And then this little sheet has on the one side all your warranty information, and on the other it's got a glossary of all the binocular terms that you might need to know. So now we've freed the Badgers from their set, so to speak, let's have a little look at the design and build quality. As you can see, they're pretty no frills, as most of Viking's binoculars do tend to be, just standard black binoculars really, although they do have this little Badger logo on the front, which I thought was a nice touch. Picking them up, the first thing that you notice is that they're pretty lightweight for 8x42 binoculars. These weigh 477 grams. There are many other 8x42s that do weigh a bit more than that, so very useful if you're going to be using them for a long period of time, that they're quite lightweight. They're made from polycarbonate, which is the norm for cheaper binoculars. You only start to get magnesium alloy when you start spending about £300 or so plus. It's one of the main reasons why they're so lightweight though, so it's not necessarily a negative. And even though I have said they are quite lightweight, they're nothing like the cheaper binoculars that you'd get off the likes of Amazon for 30 quid or something that will just fly out your hand. There's still a decent bit of weight to it, and build quality very solid. They're waterproof and nitrogen purge, which means if you're using them in damp conditions, the inside of the lenses won't fog up on you. That does tend to be standard for binoculars from this price point up, but always worth mentioning as it's a very useful feature to have. That's about all I've got to say about the design really. As I said, they're pretty no frills, but the more important thing is what they like to use. And I have to say, I was really impressed with the Badgers. I had the chance to test them out a few different times now, taking these home with me from the office in a variety of different light conditions and weathers, and yeah, they perform really well, especially given the price point. I've tried out binoculars that cost 2 or 3 times what the Badgers will set you back, and they weren't as good as these, so in terms of value for money, excellent. Using them on a dull, rainy day, they still let in plenty of light while I was using them. That's partly because of the 42mm objective lens, and that's why we tend to recommend 8x42 binoculars to most of our customers looking for sort of entry-level binoculars if they don't know exactly what magnification and lens size they're looking for. On a bright, sunny day, I did notice a tiny bit of colour fringing start to creep in, but to be fair, that was only because I was actively looking for it to see how the binoculars performed. Most people probably wouldn't notice it, and if you're the sort to be actively looking for it, you're probably not going to be looking for an entry-level pair of binoculars anyway. So most people would find that in all light and weather conditions, these do perform really well. As I mentioned earlier, Viking make a whole range of Badger binoculars, all the way from 8x25, which are specifically compact binoculars, to 10x50, which might not sound much bigger than these, but they are on the larger end of handheld binoculars. The 8x42s, which I'm talking about today, have a 6.4 degree field of view. That's how far you can see if you're pointing it in one direction from one side to the other. The 8x32s, which are the closest comparison to these, have a 7.1 degree field of view, so that is a little bit wider. But as I said, you do get a lot more light moving up from 32 to 42 objective lens. So I'd still recommend the 8x42s. They're a really good choice for bird watching, as 8 times magnification still gives you a pretty decent image of whatever it is you're looking at, but it does give you a wider field of view so that it's easier to track flying birds or look around you for stuff. And 8 times binoculars, you tend to get much less shake when you're using them compared to 10 times magnification binoculars. 10 times ones, if you're using them handheld, even a little bit of movement from the hands can sort of throw the image off, whereas with 8 times binoculars, even though the image isn't quite as zoomed in, it does tend to be a bit clearer when using them. The focus wheel is dead easy to adjust, nice and big, and ridged as well. So if you're using it in winter and you're wearing gloves, or it's been rainy and you've got wet hands, you can still adjust it easily. I will say it's maybe a little looser than I tend to like with binocular focus wheels, but that really is just personal preference really. If you're using it to track moving objects, it's loose enough that you can really quickly adjust even a tiny bit to follow what you're looking at. The eye cups, on the other hand, are just perfect for me. I've got quite long eyelashes, so I tend to find that if the eye cups on binoculars don't come out far enough, I can still see my eyelashes looking through them, which is pretty distracting. That's not the case with the badges though. If I twist them out, you'll see they come out a fair distance, which is good. But looking through them, you still get that full field of view. Nice and sturdy as well. If I give them a good solid push, you'll see that they don't go back in. Which does happen sometimes with binoculars when you've got them pressed against your face. And more importantly, that's also the case when you have them twisted down to the midpoint. I found it's a lot more common with binoculars that midpoint doesn't really lock in very well, but as you can see, it does with the badges. And then if you have them twisted all the way down, that's what you would do if you're using them while wearing glasses. So however you like to have the eye cups on your binoculars, the badges perform really well. So there we have it, the Viking Badger 8x42s, a really solid pair of binoculars that offer great value for money and are really good all-rounders. If you've got any questions or comments about this product, pop them below this video, and to get your hands on some of these for yourself, head over to ligo.co.uk.